Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be doing a look using the Coastal Scents glamourEYES palette. This is a very pretty jewel toned palette and I got it for free using my Birchbox points. I had gotten a sample of it in my December box and it was so pigmented I decided to buy the full size palette. I also had seen quite a few positive reviews about this palette on other blogs as well. So this is my first time ever using it and I'm very impressed with it. So if you want to find out how I got this look, keep watching. To start off, I'm going to prime my skin using MAC Prep and Prime, and I'm just going to rub this all over my face using my hands. I'm just going to rub this in using circular motions and make sure that I cover my entire face to make sure that my foundation applies smoothly and lasts all day. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to go with my favorite foundation, and this is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Matte Foundation in the shade Classic Ivory. So I'm just going to dot this all over my face, and then I'm going to go in with a brush and blend it all in. When I'm ready to blend in my foundation, I'm going to use my favorite blending brush, and this is the Morphe M439 brush. And I'm just going to go in circular motions, making sure I blend into the hairline and under the jaw and into my neck as well, just to make sure that everything's blended in seamlessly and there's no harsh edges anywhere. Then I'm going to go in with my favorite concealer, which is the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer in Fair Neutral. And I'm just going to apply this under my eye in an almost triangular shape. I don't usually apply too much because I find it's very pigmented, so I don't really need to make a full triangle. And then I'm going to blend this in using an e.l.f. stipple brush. I do really want to try other concealers, but at the time this is the only one that really matches me well. But I am really curious about the new one that Makeup Forever has released, so I'm going to try that one in the near future, hopefully. As I'm blending this in, I'm just making sure that I blend out towards the edge of my face, just to give kind of a nice highlighted and lifted appearance to the under eye area. To set my concealer and foundation today, I'm going to be using the Laura Mercier Translucent Setting Powder. I'm just going to take this on a powder brush and pat it all over my face, making sure that I cover everywhere where I applied the foundation and concealer. This will make sure that everything sets and stays matte, as well as will ensure that any other products that I apply on my face will blend in nice and smoothly. And I really don't like this powder brush. It's one from Sonia Kashuk that I got in a set at one point, and it sheds all over my face, so I'm hoping to replace it at some point. Then I'm going to apply my favorite item in my makeup collection, and that's the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion in Original. And I'm just going to put this on my eye using the doe foot applicator, and then I'm going to blend it all in using my fingers, and I'm going to blend it up and towards the brow bone just to make sure that I cover the entire crease area where I'll be applying eyeshadow after. And this is going to make sure that my eyeshadow stays creaseless and stays on all day. Once I'm done blending all of this in, I'm going to move on to contouring, and I'm going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Kit in light to medium. And for contouring, I'm going to use my favorite shade, which is the shade Fawn, which is the more cool tone shade, and I'm going to be using a Morphe G3 brush. And I'm just going to do this on the hollows of my cheeks in an up and down motion, and I'm just going to blend that in as I go and apply it as I feel like I need it. I really like using this brush for contouring because it just gives a nice light everyday highlight. It blends in really nicely and it doesn't give any harsh lines. Once I'm satisfied with my contouring, I'm going to move on to applying my lip balm, which is, as always, the Maybelline Baby Lips Dr. Rescue in the shade Too Cool, and this is just going to help keep my lips from drying out. Unfortunately, the eye palette that I'm using doesn't have names, so this is a reference for the 3 shades I'll be using. So I'm going to start off by taking a Sigma E40 tapered blending brush and apply the purple shade to my crease. This is just going to deepen up the crease and add a pop of purple, which will be complementary to the green shadow we're about to use. Then I'm going to take a Morphe E17 brush and apply the green shade to the outer edge of my eye. So I'm just going to use a patting motion and apply this just onto the eyelid and on the outer half of the eye. So I'm just trying to build up the coverage so it's not super dark, but it looks nice and blended and you can tell that it's green. Once I'm happy with the green, I'm going to move on to the silvery shade in the palette, and I'm going to use a Real Techniques base shadow brush to apply this. So I'm just going to use a sweeping motion and blend this into the green, just to make sure that it's all nice and blended. I'm going to put a little bit more on because this one eyeshadow in particular is not very pigmented. The rest of the shadows in the palette are fantastic, but that one just isn't very pigmented. And then I'm just going to take my finger and apply a little bit extra just right where the 2 shadows meet to make sure that there's no harsh edges. Once I'm happy with my blending, I'm going to go back in with the purple shade on a Sigma E40 brush and just apply that back to the crease and blend everything out to make sure that there's no harsh edges from the previous shadow. And then once I'm done that, I'm going to move on to my under eye. For the under eye, I'm going to be using that same green eyeshadow that I used on my eyelid. And I'm going to use a Sigma E30 pencil brush and just use a sweeping motion to apply this under my eye. I'm going to keep it simple and use that one color across my entire under eye. So I'm going to start with the inner corner of my eye, and then I'm going to do the outer half as well. And just use that same color and just meet in the middle. I was actually going to use the gray originally, but it just wasn't pigmented enough. For my eyeliner, I'm using the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil in the shade Smoke, which is a nice matte gray color, and I'm just applying this to the waterline just to give a little extra definition under my eye. For my eyelashes, I'll be using two products today. So the first one I'll be using is the Diorshow Maximizer Lash Primer, and this will add a little extra length and a little extra volume to my lashes. I got this as a sample from Sephora and I absolutely love it. So once I'm done with that, I'm going to be using the Makeup Forever Smoky Extravagant Mascara, and I'm going to apply one coat to my top lashes right over top of the primer, and then I'll also add a coat to my bottom lashes as well. And then once I'm done with the bottom lashes, I'm going to go back up to the top and add a second coat to the top lashes just to make sure that they're nice and defined and fluffy. For my brows, I had already penciled them in using the L'Oreal Brow Artist Shaper in this shade Blonde, so I'm just going to go in now with the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper in light to medium and go over top of the penciling. This is a tinted brow gel that'll just keep everything in place and fill in any extra gaps. For blush today, I'm using the Too Faced Sweethearts Perfect Flush Blush in the shade Candy Glow, and I'm just going to apply this to my cheeks using a Sigma E4 brush. So I'm just going to pat this in, blending as I go. It doesn't really show on camera. This is a very light, almost more of a highlight kind of blush. I chose this blush because I didn't want anything too harsh since my eyes are a little darker and a little smokier than usual. So I didn't want to do too much with the face, so I have my cheeks nice and natural. For highlight, I'm using the Becca and Jaclyn Hill Champagne Glow Palette. I'm going to be mixing Champagne Pop and Pearl. To apply the highlight, I'm using the Morphe M501 brush and just sweeping this across the high points of my cheeks. I find that mixing Pearl with Champagne Pop makes it slightly more wearable for my fair skin. While I'm highlighting, I'm going to take that same brush and dip it back straight into Pearl, and I'm just going to use that on my brow bones. I normally use a different brush to do my brow bones, but I'd forgotten to do this when I did my eyes, so I'm just going to go for it right now. Once I'm done highlighting, I'm going to apply my lipstick, and today I'm using the ColourPop Lippy Sticks in the shade Lumiere, and I'm just going to apply this straight onto my lips without a lip liner because I'm a rebel like that. And once I'm done with that, that is the completed look. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!